I guess I should have put us on the screen. I'm like, why don't I see us? Good morning.
Good morning.
So you can see how my morning is going. Huh? I'm sitting there looking like, well, wait, why? What? I was trying something different with my orientation, with how I see us, and then how I see my notes. And yeah, see what happens when you try something new on the fly. All right. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
How was your week?
It was good. How about yours?
Good, good. It was interesting, busy, but
Yeah.
interesting. You know, this whole AI got me by the in a clutch. I'm like, wait a minute. So we had our convocation at the college, and it's really more about personal development or professional development. Well, actually, a little bit of both, because there was some things to do personal for you, the person. There were some walks and some stress relievers, and learning how to make sourdough and that kind of stuff. But then there are
Okay.
also some professional things. Actually, last year, um, I went into, they have a greenhouse, and I went into the greenhouse, and they was talking about the different plants. And then we actually potted some plants. So I have my little spider plant in my office that I did last year. It's still alive, considering it's freezing in there. I don't know how it's working, but it's still there. But anyway, this year I focused more on the AI opportunities, and very interesting. I swear, I was like, it is taking over my world. Very interesting. Like, oh, we could do that. Now, the thing about this dude who did the presentation, he didn't, I don't feel like he cleaned up the AI well. He just was just like, well, do this, do this, do this, and see what you get. And then if you like it, then come back and do it. And I'm like, that's a lot of time. Why don't you just clean it up beforehand? Like, after you see that first initial, and something may not be right, or when you know that you wanted to check the facts, then let it check the facts. And yeah, so I was like, I don't know about that. I don't have that kind of time. But how was your week? You said it was good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I no knock wood for my background.
That's where you go. Look, I was
Yeah.
like, you got a whole background back there.
I mean, I can't complain. I mean, I was busy too. I mean, and I have a busy day after we finish here, so
Okay.
um, it's coming along. I'm happy.
Yay, good for you. I love the happiness and the joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. All right. All right, all right. Well, welcome everybody to our Saturday morning tea. Here we brew up the hottest topics in healthcare. We discuss health information news, education, AI, knocking on wood, happiness and joy, as well as certification tips, entrepreneurship uh, opportunities, and really the revenue cycle at large. So as you come in, don't forget to hit the thumbs up or like button. I'm Clarice Warner. I'm the Girl with the Pearls, the founder and senior education director of the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, where coding education is key. And PRN is a healthcare compliance consultancy located in Cincinnati, Ohio, that specializes in revenue cycle and regulatory compliance in education. Now, let me ask, do you know what it takes to be a certified marketable medical coder? Well, before I introduce my co host, let me share with you information on a free, yes, free email course on the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder. Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start and scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder. Hey, If you're interested in getting more information about the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder, well, check the video description for the link. Joining me today is my partner in success, my co host, Mr. Jesse, the registered trademark. Put some respect on his name, the coding nurse. Sir, introduce yourself and tell the folks all about you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jesse. I live in Philadelphia. I have been in healthcare for a long time. In 2014, I left the bedside and started in risk adjustment. During the pandemic in 2020, I created a company, the Coding Nurse LLC, where I help nurses and other people in healthcare with a clinical background transition into the wonderful world of HIM.
And how is that going?
It's coming along.
Great this week, huh? That's what's up. That's what's up. All right. Before we jump in, let me remind you that you can join in and add to the conversation. So don't be shy. Your opinion matters and is welcomed here. So, friends, please use the chat if you have a question. But if you have a question specifically for us, type Q first so we know it is a question and we don't miss it, even though there's something going on with StreamYard that allows us to kind of do that. But I don't know. But I was playing today. I got a little surprise at the end. So I was like, every time I come on here, I see something. I'll be like, ooh, I'm like a kid. Let me try that. Let me try that. All right. For those who are just joining us or watching the replay, today we are talking AI and medical coding, the timeline that changes everything. But first, let's get into our church announcements, shall we? Shall we? Mm, 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 mm. Hey. Boom, 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 boom. All right, let's see. Okay. I really don't have any church announcements now that I think about it. I'm looking like, no. Be on the lookout for, so if you are an AHIMA member, be on the lookout from your component association for information regarding any of the amendments to the bylaws or changes that your delegates will be voting on next month. We should get a semi-complete list because there's always something that happens when we get in the doors behind closed doors. So you should get maybe a partial list of some of the things that will be voted on. So be on the lookout for emails or however your component association provides information to you. Be on the lookout within the next week or so about what's coming down the pike. And they're really looking for your input. They're looking for your information or your opinions about the all of the information, all of the amendments and such, because again, as delegates, we vote on that and we kind of know how we feel, but we want to make sure that we're voting according to our constituents in our state. So if you feel so compelled, when you get that, shoot us an email and let us know. Hey, I'm sure we'll have some kind of email link or some sort that you can send your comments to, and your state probably has something too. So send your comments. This is a way to give your voice to the process. So let your delegates know. Mr. Jesse?
I don't have any business church announcements, but I have every time that song plays, I have never said I got a story.
Okay.
I used to work at this outpatient adult day program.
Mhm.
So the director had gotten this idea for the participants to go to different like long-term care facilities and sing Christmas songs.
Okay.
So they decided to, I guess they call themselves having rehearsals. When I tell you them they sounded terrible. So I had to step in. It was just I just couldn't do it. I had to channel my inner Walter Hawkins,
Uh-oh.
and I grouped them by how they sounded and was directing. When I tell you, when I tried to step away, they were like, "No, no, no, you gonna go with us." And so at one Christmas, we went around Camden, New Jersey, and I was a choir director.
What have you not done? That's all. That's my whole thing. What have you not done?
Look, retired.
That's on the horizon, though, sir. That's what's up. Oh my goodness. I can see you now. Did you have them swaying? Hey.
Yes, yes.
Give everybody a
And
little
yes,
part.
yes. Getting them ready. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And they really enjoyed
Oh my
it. They really
God.
did. It was in hindsight, it was fun.
See? I love it. I love it. Ah, oh my goodness. And see, that's the kind of joy, the stuff that we don't even think about. All right. Alternative things that we deal with. All right. Let's see. Good morning, Crafty Coder. Good morning. Good morning, Tanika. Good morning, Molly, the healthcare business
Yes.
consultant. Good morning. Good morning. She said Jesse's been to the moon and back. Absolutely. And never ceases to amaze me. I be like, you did what? You did that when? I love it. Great. All right. All right. Well, let the tea spilling begin. Woo, woo. All right. So, welcome back to the Saturday Morning Tea, where we serve up the real talk our profession needs. I'm Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, with my partner in success, the coding nurse. And grab your favorite mug and let's have a conversation that honestly could change the trajectory of your career. Again, today's topic: AI and medical coding, the timeline that changes everything. I don't even know where to start. Okay, now I am going to be a buck. I'm going to be real. This isn't our usually light Saturday chat. Now, the last couple of weeks hasn't necessarily been our light usual chat, but very eye opening and informative. And I pray that today is no different. But today we need to talk about something that's been weighing on my heart. And I know it's probably weighing on many of yours too. And I am bracing myself for the phone calls that I'm going to get next week. Because usually I get them. Well, what about? Well, what about? And should I do? And what I did? And what? And I'm like, time out, breathe, which is I'm going to have you do as well. But because what if I told you that by 2030, just 5 short years from now, and we know how time flies because this year is gone, for real, 65% of hospital CFOs expect to replace at least half of their medical coders with artificial intelligence. Half in 5 years. And the tipping point, when AI codes more claims than humans do, is projected to hit between 2029 and 2032. Now, I can already feel some of you getting that pit in your stomach right now. Your head is throbbing. Your neck is rolling. You probably got your fingers up too, but uh, uh. And I want you to take a deep breath with me. Yes, I feel like yoga 101. Sometimes you got to breathe through it. Whew. Sometimes you got to breathe through it. What was okay? Aside, I watch Project One Ray. It's like my mindless TV thing, but it is hilarious to me. And one of the last episodes, there's this lady that does streetwear. Da 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 da. She looks like us, and when they come for her or when they give her critiques on her stuff, she immediately, but so and so, well, wait a minute, I did. And they be like, ma'am, ma'am. And so Tyra Banks was on there, and she was one of the celebrity judges, and she told her, cuss them out in your head. Just cuss them out in your head. You ain't got to say it. Smile and cuss them out in your head. So you can do that right now. Cuss them out in your head. All right. All right. So here's the thing. This isn't a conversation about fear. Let's start there. It's about preparation. It's about empowerment. And honestly, it could all be so simple if we just know what steps to take. Okay. So if you were like me, you ran into this article. I was reading Timothy Powell's article, Coders on Borrowed Time. And immediately I felt some kind of way. Immediately it went into my notes. Immediately I knew we were going to talk about this week. Immediately. Because we just talked about things related to AI. And I said, well, wait a minute. We kind of had a more optimistic approach to some arguments, some things. And then here. um, and y'all, let me just say for real, he didn't sugarcoat anything. I don't know if he felt some kind of way, somebody did something to his coffee that morning, but he was on one. On one. But I'll be honest, he had some facts and he had some data around some of the things that he was saying. So I'm like, all right, so you can't necessarily be mad at the messenger. Now what's next? And that's what we're going to talk about today. And like I said, I appreciate that he didn't sugarcoat stuff because actually we really need to be dealing with reality and not fairy tales. So here's what the research is showing. AI isn't coming for medical coding jobs. It's already here. According to 2024 AHIMA data. Well, we kind of knew all of that with some of the computer assisted coding, and folks are already dipping their toes. Well, some of them they knee deep into autonomous coding and all of the things. We know some folks out there playing. They playing around and seeing what's happening. But again, according to the 2024 AHIMA data, 41% of hospitals are already piloting or deploying AI-driven coding assistants right now, today. Companies like Optum are claiming they're seeing 15 to 20% error reduction compared to traditional human workflows. And it's actually working. That's what's driving this whole momentum. See, hospitals are operating on razor thin margin. We talked about this. The cents ain't adding up. The dollars ain't making sense. The coins are not coining. And coding labor is expensive. We cost money. If you know your work, we gonna cost you because we know what we bring to the table. We know what we provide you. We know the services that we give. So we gonna cost you. When you're a CFO looking at your bottom line and someone shows you technology that can process thousands of claims in the time it takes a human to handle a handful, that's compelling. That's a business decision that's going to get made. But here's what I want you to understand, and this is crucial. This doesn't mean we're obsolete. It means we're evolving. So let me walk you through this evolution because understanding this roadmap is the first step to preparing for it. So Powell lays out 3 phases. Phase 1, and we're in this one right now. This goes through about 2027, is hybrid augmentation. AI does the first pass, humans review. Coders are shifting into quality assurance roles or auditing roles. Friends, this is our transition window. Actually, it probably was a while back, but now that we're here, this is our transition window. And this is the time to be strategic. Phase two, 2028 to 2033, is majority automation. Routine inpatient and outpatient coding becomes fully automated. Humans remain for audits and edge cases, or those, outside of the norm, the more complex cases. So if you're doing routine coding right now and not building additional skills, this should be your wake up call. Phase three, post 2035, AI dominance. More than 80% of coding is handled by machines. Human coders have transitioned into compliance, governance, and training roles. Now, I know that's an aggressive timeline, but it follows the exact same pattern we saw in radiology. AI now reads most scans before a radiologist ever sees them. But are radiologists extinct? No, they're still essential. They're still the experts. They just work differently now. And friends, coding is following that same playbook, or at least we should. Mr. Jesse, you know to jump in at any time.
You're doing good. Not yet.
Okay. Now, here's where this gets interesting and where your opportunity lies. AI has limitations. We know this, real limitations. We talked about a lot of those limitations within the last couple of Saturday morning teas. And these limitations are where human expertise becomes not just valuable, but irreplaceable. So let's talk about what AI struggles with. It struggles with ambiguous physician notes. It struggles with documentation that is contradictory or incomplete. It has trouble applying complex payer rules and specialized areas such as oncology, neurosurgery, behavioral health. These remain stubbornly resistant to automation because they require judgment, interpretation, and deep clinical knowledge. And here's the liability question that nobody's really answering yet. If an algorithm miscodes a claim that leads to fraud accusations, who's responsible? The vendor? The hospital? The coder who reviewed it? This gray area means human oversight isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So, yes, there's still a need for us, but the role is changing. And this is what I mean when I say it could all be so simple if we just understand what skills to build and where to position ourselves. Because the coders who are going to thrive in the next decade aren't the ones fighting the technology. No, they already know. They're the ones becoming irreplaceable partners to that technology. All right, let's get practical because, of course, you didn't tune in just to hear about problems, right? We want solutions. We thrive on solutions. So I've identified 3 pivots that medical coders need to make, and I'm going to give you actionable steps you can start this week. Pivot number 1 is from coder. Go ahead.
Before you get into the pivots, I just want to say, have we not? It's been, oh my God. It's been, I think it's been at least 2 years. We've been on here and telling people that they need to pivot. They
Mhm,
need to go into different areas and
mhm,
not just rely on coding.
mhm,
All right.
mhm. We've talked about we if you are a tea sipper, first and foremost, we have given you volumes of information, actual step by step. This is what you need to do this. We gave you stuff if you want to transition and pivot into entrepreneurship. We've given you stuff if you want to transition into the educational realm, compliance, um, billing, entrepreneurial opportunities, other types of coding that may, I mean, what blood, sweat, and tears we have given you. Even the for free gives, we've given those as well. Even here on the Saturday morning tea, if you catch the tea, you got some gems that will assist. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's right. She say pivot, folks. Pivot. Absolutely. But anyway, pivot number one. From coder to compliance guardian. See, somebody has to ensure that AI coded claims meet regulatory standards and won't trigger audits. Somebody has to understand the False Claims Act, ZPIC audit, OIG compliance, all of the lovely stuff that I love. Somebody has to understand it. And that somebody needs to be you, right? You could do it. You could do it. The information is out there. Just pick it up one day. Take a look. Thumb through it. You'll be surprised. You'll be amazed because things should automatically click. Oh, this is why we did da 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 da. Oh, this is the guidance behind doing this and thus and so. It's all right there. Somebody just needs to be what they say. Put it in the book. Folks will never know because they won't read. Okay. She said you can't make them drink the water, but eat the cake, anime. Eat the cake. Okay. Here are 3 steps to start this pivot. Step 1. You should enroll or even begin to investigate compliance certification programs within the next 6 months. Take a look, see what's out there, see what's offered. Now, you have compliance certifications for different things by different providers, organizations. So make sure that you are searching for and dipping in and investing in the route in which you want to go. So we know AAPC has some compliance certification. We also have the Certified Healthcare Compliance CHC certification through Healthcare Compliance Association. Again, focus specifically on audit and compliance requirements. So, some of these, again, be mindful in your research. Some of these credentials position you for certain types of areas. In my professional judgment, I would make sure that you got into something that level set you as a compliance professional globally, across the board, across all things. That's my 2 cents for the day. So again, these credentials could potentially position you as the compliance expert, not just a coder. So don't wait. Begin your research now. You can start that this week. Step 2, shadow or interview compliance officers at your organizations. Get to know the folks, get to understand what their workflows are, what their pain points are, and especially how AI generated coding errors could create liabilities for them. Ask them, can I pick your brains? Buy them some coffee or tea and learn what keeps them up at night. That allows you to kind of understand where there may be gaps, where you can say, oh, okay, well, let me do some deeper dives and some deeper research on this particular area because clearly there's a need and it has been identified. So you don't necessarily have to go out there and try to figure out. Talk to somebody. If you listen, you will hear. You can get some gems. So just have a conversation. Step 3, create your personal audit toolkit. Start documenting common AI coding errors you encounter. Pair specific rules that AI struggles with, and build yourself a reputation as the go-to AI validator. Make yourself the expert everyone calls when they need a human review. Basically, become the safety net, become the validator, become the compliance guardian. Because AI can code fast, but it can't testify in court. It can't explain the reasoning to an auditor. That's where you come in. Mr. Jesse?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, and the thing is, I think that a lot of people get stuck with with progressing because they think that they have to already be working in it. No,
Mm-mm.
no. It's that old adage, if you build it, they will come. You got to get
Mhm.
it. Then an opportunity will present itself.
Mhm. Absolutely. Pivot number 2, from generalist to specialty expert. Remember what I said about complex specialties being resistant to automation? That's your opportunity. Become the authority in areas where AI can't easily replace human expertise. Step 1, choose one complex specialty and go deep. Get in there. Go knee deep, hip deep, elbow deep. Get in there. Within the next 3 months, complete possibly a specialty specific education. AAPC and AHEMA both have specialty credentials. You can go in, check out, and even if you don't want to necessarily test for those credentials, go get the materials, brush up, and at least it gives you a roadmap on where you need to go deeper. Things that you may not have thought about. Make sure you hit all of them. So that's maybe just a preparation guide, a study guide, or something for those credentials if you're not necessarily looking to sit for the exams right now. But if you are, hey, that gives you some additional preparation for that as well. Pick oncology, neurosurgery, behavioral health, and interventional procedures. Whatever speaks to you in any of those fields, and then become the expert. Step 2, partner with physicians in that specialty. Offer to review their documentation weekly and provide feedback on AI coding accuracy. Understand the clinical nuances that AI misses, because when you understand the clinical side as well as the coding side, you're invaluable. Know your stuff. For real, for real. Step 3, publish your expertise. Write articles, create case studies, present at local AAPC chapters or your component association for your when they have coding day or when they have your annual meetings. Present out at those. Present at your more local AHEMA um, chapters as well. Build your personal brand as the expert in your specialty. And friends, this doesn't just have to be complicated. Just share what you know. You got a phone? Get your phone. Have a conversation and tell the world and post it to the social medias. This is again how folks become the quote unquote expert. But make sure you know your stuff. Don't be out here just talking, wilding out. Because you can be spotted and identified. So make sure you know your stuff. The key here is to stop being a jack of all trades and become a master of one. Because the generalists, they are the easiest to replace. The specialists, they're irreplaceable. Pivot number 3, from code assigner to AI trainer and workflow designer. I feel like I needed to wrap that. That was a bar. This is where it gets really exciting, especially for those who are tech minded. Somebody has to train these AI systems. We've already talked about that. Somebody has to design the workflows. We've talked about that. You know how um and some HIM folks jumped over when, especially when EHR became a thing that was going to be here forever. They understood we are health information professionals. We deal with the data in the medical record. Some of us know all of these things, and some of us need to be sitting at these tables as y'all designing these workflows for the people. Yeah, we may not know what is necessary for the clinical part of the workflow, but we do know what is needed in a legal medical record. We do know what is needed in a medical record for it to be able to withstand any type of scrutiny. We do know the law related to that. We know these things. We've been trained on these things. So we need to be sitting at the table to make sure that they make it well known within these workflows what's needed, what's really needed, what's a good to have, and what doesn't need to be here at all. And so you know, they I know a lot of HI professionals that jumped over into the tech space. I know you probably know nurses who jumped over when they wanted to figure out like the workflows and how do we do this within the EHR or whatever. And they became those nursing or clinical professionals to assist in those workflows. I know physicians who've done the same thing. Like, oh, let us help these physicians understand what types of templates they need and what they need to do in order to assist them to not only provide the necessary and needed care for these patients, but then be able to have the documentation to support it as well as to support continuity of care. So they jumped over there on this. This isn't any different because someone is going to have to kind of bridge that gap. Someone is going to have to understand the technology as well as the clinical documentation. They got people out here now that's putting these things together that have no clue about coding, no clue about the guidance around why we do what we do, no clue about what auditors may look for, what they've already told us. You better have XYZ or we're coming. They have no clue about those things. I don't even know if they care about those. They're just so busy trying to get their product out. But somebody needs to be like, no, especially at your particular facility. Hey, did somebody vet this? Did somebody check and make sure? That's where you come in to be that bridge between that information. And so why shouldn't that be you? If that is where your heart is jumping for joy when you hear about the technology and what is happening and the opportunities and the possibilities, jump on in. Yes, sir.
You had mentioned like these are some great points, and I think a lot of people don't even realize opportunity when they see it, because like one of the easiest ways that a lot of people overlook is if you work anywhere that has Epic and somebody or anybody talks about you becoming a super user, you better jump with both feet and both hands because that is your introduction to Epic training.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can parlay that once you because if you ever get a chance to be a super user, do it because you, Epic has their own training. Like the institution has to pay for you to go.
Mm-hmm.
But if you express interest and some passion and you can become the expert at your facility because it's bigger than your facility.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get that Epic certification, you can write your own paycheck
Mm-hmm.
anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way to get it is to go through Epic training, which it's not open to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They have a very specific pathway, and the best way, the easiest way to transition is to start as a super user. Start it, and then when you're talking about specialization, there are medical supply companies, there are medical manufacturers that only hire specialty physicians and nurses to do their education.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a coder and you specialize in whatever, in any specialty, there's a need
Mm-hmm.
because even though they hire doctors and nurses, those manufacturers, those doctors and nurses don't know coding. Like,
Mm-mm.
how is this going to map out? What will you be able to reimburse for? And Crafty Coder talks all the time about unlisted codes. How could you use that to establish a baseline for what you'll be able to charge for this, using this device for this procedure? Like it's all kinds of ways, but people have to stop thinking, I'm just going to get certification and get a job. Or I'm going to just get education and get a job. That's only the price of admission.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get in, you really, really, really have to take your career seriously. You have to take your career growth seriously.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Um, Especially thinking outside of the box. And yeah, we talk more about um facilities and hospitals and the like. But there are opportunities where Our skills are valuable all over the place. I remember I had actually had a friend that worked at Johnson and Johnson, and that's what she did. She worked. They had several teams in their research and development departments. And when they were either coming up with a particular device or a particular process for the device or a particular drug, even, um, they would have them go through and provide, especially with devices, they would have them go through and provide the coding that was necessary for the provider if they decided to use that particular device and how to use it. So they had a medical advisor, they had the coder, um, they had somebody else on their team that kind of was the glue for it all together. And then they packaged that. And so when they go out to provide demos or the education or even the training on how to use this specific thing, in that package was a sheet that listed, and these are the codes that you could use for, because that was the part of the selling point as well. These are the codes that you could use if you produce or provide this service using this device, da 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 da. Here's the reimbursement on those codes. Here, I mean, all of the stuff. So they had all of that nice and neatly packaged. That was the coder's job and responsibility to do the research, to pull that out, and then even talk about the guidelines behind it. So they gave, enough information to say, okay, now keep in mind, you have to do this, this, and this before you can get to this because of the guidance that is out there, and you want to be audit proof. But again, that was an opportunity that's totally different from your typical hospital or physician coding position. So sometimes you do have to really think outside the box. I love that. Thank you for reminding us that. Okay, so step 1, let's see, learn the basics of AI and machine learning. I'm not saying you need to be a data scientist, not at all, unless that's something that floats your boat and that's where you want to go. But understanding how these systems work gives you credibility. Take free online courses, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, all of these places focus on AI fundamentals, natural language processing, healthcare AI applications. Give yourself 90 days. Jump on in. Learn an hour a day. You got 90 hours up under your belt. You can be the expert. Step 2, volunteer to be on an AI implementation committee at your organization. Position yourself as the subject matter expert who can identify where AI needs human oversight and how to structure hybrid workflows. Don't wait to be asked. Volunteer, because they may not ask you. They may jump over you. You're like, we don't know. No, I know. Let me sit at this table with y'all. Step 3, develop training protocols. Create documentation on how to review AI coded charts. What red flags to look for. Decision trees when to override AI recommendations. This becomes your portfolio for future AI auditor or trainer roles. Start that stuff now. The bottom line, if you can't beat them, partner with them. Because the people who understand both the human side and the technology side, those are the people who write their own ticket in this new landscape. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. But we could do it. You could do it. And so instead of putting your head in the sand and, oh, woe is me, oh, what we gonna do, Harpo? Well, none of that. Let's think outside of that. Even considering being part of, and I don't know how you get into that. I've always wondered, but that's something that can be researched. As I go to especially for ICD 10 and ICD 11 codes, as I go into, I know because AMA got the lock on CPT, but also HCPCS codes as well. Like your cooperating parties, I've gone to those maintenance and coordination committees for the code sets, understanding and appreciating how do you get into nociology for real, like putting the actual codes together and the mapping of the codes and that's the whole, that may be more on the data scientist part of it, but that's a real job. That's a real career. That's a real something that somebody is actually doing. And we know it moves. It moves. And it's not just, at least for ICD 10 and 11, it's not just for the American health professional. It's global. It's global. And so understanding that may be something that be like, you know what? Let me hover above all of this and get a better appreciation and knowledge for this. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity out there, that even things that we haven't even thought of, because again, 5 years ago, who would have thought that we would need to prepare now for this? Or 10 years ago, who would have thought that these types of opportunities and positions would even actually exist? You got to be at least thinking ahead, being creative, being using your imagination and being inventive and saying, okay, well, if we got this and we got this and we want to do this, how do we do that? How do we get there? What type of things do we need? What's missing? What identifying gaps? That has been my thing for the last couple of weeks. Identify the gaps. What is missing? And sitting back and really like listening, looking, what is missing? And then when you hit that when the light bulb goes off, boom, baby, that's your sweet spot. Go get it. Go find it. Go test it. Go see. Well, wait a minute, and then make it the best it can be at the time. And then eventually, I'm sure it will need some tweaking and revamping to make it the end all be all. But then, at that point, go patent it. Make it yours. You never know what it is, what's missing, and why not you? Why not you to think through that? Mr. Jesse, you want to add?
This is just such a timely topic, and I think that there are a lot of people, aside, just in this country, period. I just think that a lot of us have become very, very complacent and think that somebody's going to come and say, "Oh, this nobody's coming to develop your career. Nobody is coming to save you." Like, you have got to take control, and people sit around and wait to be told what to do. By the time that comes around, it's already too late.
Mm-hmm.
You have got to take control, especially if you have to work another 10 to 20 years. You can no longer just be a coder. It's not going to work. It's not sustainable, because
Not
the
anymore.
handwriting is on the wall. Like, they're not going back. Period. It's not going to happen. They would rather have 20 people fix this mistake than keep it the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to do it. So the only thing to do is to stay ahead of the curve, be proactive. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't wait, and you should, like, this time next year, you should not be in the same spot in your career as you are today. You really shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's no need, because there's so much opportunity out here. And we already know these organizations like Kahima, AAPC, they're not gonna give you any kind of career projection advice. That's not what they do. And that's what they choose not to do. So it's up to you to use the information that thankfully are in this, our podcast, because I've said it for years. There's a whole lot of people who talk about, but they talk loud and saying absolutely nothing. Nothing. Like, this is how you, just like you say every Saturday, this is how you become marketable. Like, it doesn't do any good to have a credential and you can't. Nobody's interested. Nobody wants the skill you have to bring. That's,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
have to stay. This is all part of being marketable.
Yeah. And I don't want the other takeaway from this information to be, well, then I shouldn't even look at this profession. I don't think that's the road. I don't think, because you still need to understand and develop the skill. You got to learn and develop the skill. And where else were you going to get that information from without being part of the profession? You have to um, not count this profession out. I don't think this is one where, because first and foremost, medical coding is actually just a piece of the health information professional. It's just one piece. And then if you look at the revenue cycle as a whole, again, it's just one piece. But it's a vital and important piece because it has a skill that really none of the other pieces have. And that skill is transferable to other areas. So you got to first and foremost understand and learn the skill. Without that, you can't go to the next step. that's the foundation. And getting a good foundation is most important, because then it's not gonna work well for you. Go ahead.
Anybody who is in, and that is a great point. Like you have to get in the door. That's the price of entry. Then once you get in the door, then you can see, because like I don't think most people even understand, even people in healthcare don't understand the revenue cycle and how expansive it is and where you can fit in, because like you were talking about, um coding, just knowing the coding guidelines, knowing how to apply the guidelines to almost basic situations. Can I tell me, knowing the coding guidelines has made me so much money. Not only has it allowed me to secure employment, but it has also allowed me to secure entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
It's just all, you just have to think outside the box and don't get locked down into it's a 9 to 5, because it can be so much more than that. And you might get in it and realize, oh well, I might like compliance more, but your coding knowledge will always help you with compliance.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to do in the revenue cycle, coding is the baseline, and can set you apart from anybody else.
I mean, even in my personal career journey with my master's in public health, I'm sitting in classrooms where they're trying to understand policy related to some of the diseases and conditions that we're talking about. They're trying to figure out, well, how can we get the data? Where does the information come from? I'm sitting there like, for real? Those are codes. Let's talk about the coding. Let's take a step back. I mean, it was a whole, hell, I could have taught that class. Like, it was a whole thing. Like, they don't know that there are codes that are assigned to the conditions, and then these codes are further specified based on what is out there in the world on these particular conditions that folks have seen. They don't know this, and that if they have the proper codes from, everything is coded, everything is coded. You can get this data and you can get this information then to provide the public with the health information that they're looking for, that drives your public health decisions. Y'all know this? Y'all know about the policies that are related to some of the public health initiatives that actually circles back to what happens in the physician's office, in the hospital, in the outpatient centers. All of that is tied based on what is happening, and you don't know where you fit in unless you know what's happening about in those particular areas based on the codes that are being submitted. Come on, y'all. It's all together. Because everybody was like, well, why public health? Huh. It's all tied together. That's a whole other expansive place if I really, really want to go there. But when I first, because I was like, I see where the connection is. I understand. But a lot of people didn't. And even sitting in my classes, they were like, oh, even some of the, the instructors and professors was like, you know what? You got a point there. I was like, oh, this is about to be a cakewalk for me.
Exactly.
It's about to be a
Because
cakewalk.
Look, what is that? How does the song go? With work it out while you trying to figure out is already. He's already worked it out. So
Hey,
while you trying to figure out what to do, I already know what to
I
do.
already know what to do. Oh, yes, yes. I'm like, come on. Come on. I don't know. But yeah. Okay. So now I want to pause here and ask you some questions that I need you to really sit with. You might want to grab your journal. You may want to rewind, come back and rewind and listen again for some of these things. Because again, these aren't rhetorical questions. These are questions that should shape your action plan. Question number one: if the tipping point is 2029 to 2032, what are you doing today to prepare for the moment when AI codes more claims than humans? I mean, right now you're here, you're hearing the information. So that's you can check that out. Are you building new skills or are you hoping this timeline is wrong? Because hoping isn't a strategy. I know that's a tough one, but it's necessary. Question number two: what makes you irreplaceable? Can you articulate your unique value beyond data entry and code assignment? Because if an AI can do what you do, you need to identify your edge. So, what is your edge in all of this? Question number three: are you comfortable being the person who reviews and validates AI's work and takes responsibility when it's wrong? Because that's likely going to be the job for many of us. Can you handle that responsibility? That's actually a really important question about liability and confidence in your own expertise. You can't hide behind the supervisor. You can't hide behind somebody. It's you, the person. Question number four: how would your current role change if 80% of routine coding disappeared tomorrow? What will be left for you to do? And are you prepared to do it? Question number five: if entry level positions vanish by 2030, how does our profession mentor and train the next generation? What does career progression even look like in an AI dominated field? We've answered some of these questions already, but you need to think about what those questions mean just for you. Again, these are questions our entire profession needs to wrestle with, not someday, but right now. So let me bring this home because we're almost at the top of the hour because I want to make sure you leave here today feeling empowered and not panicked. Yes, this timeline is aggressive. And yes, entry level positions will likely disappear by 2028 to 2030. And yes, AI will handle the majority of routine coding. We've talked about that. We didn't necessarily put a time on it, but we've talked about that. But here's what else is true: complex cases will still need human expertise. Compliance will still need human oversight. Audits will still need human judgment. AI systems will still need human trainers. The hospital and payers, they'll slash costs and accelerate reimbursement. Patients might even see fewer billing errors. But make no mistake, the era of armies of human medical coders doing purely manual coding is ending. The machines aren't coming, friends. They're already here. But here's my message to you: your career doesn't have to be on borrowed time, as as the writer of the article said. You can take back control. You can position yourself not to just survive, but to thrive. It really could all be so simple. Not easy, but simple. Again, identify which pivot makes sense for your skills and interests. Take action this week on at least one step. Build your expertise intentionally. Position yourself as irreplaceable because the coders who make it aren't going to be the ones with their heads in the sand. They're going to be the ones who looked at this timeline, took a deep breath, and said, okay, what's my move? What I got to do? So I'm asking you right now, what's your move? And you don't have to figure this out alone. That's what this community is for. So drop a comment and tell us which pivot resonates with you. What step are you going to take this week? And let's support each other through this transition because we're stronger together. Right?
There you go.
Right. And so, again, thank you all for joining us. I know this was heavy, but it was necessary. And I hope you're leaving here feeling equipped, not defeated. Again, if this conversation was helpful, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you can stay informed. Um, and that is your first step to staying employed and thriving in your career. Staying informed, getting the information. Remember, you are valuable, your expertise matters, your judgment is irreplaceable. You just need to position yourself strategically for the landscape that's coming. Your career is in your hands. Now go take your first step. Yay. All right. Let's see. And with that, join our community of professional reimbursement at Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC. We provide ongoing education, compliance, updates, and practical strategies for navigating this complex environment of healthcare revenue cycle. You don't have to figure this out alone. Oh, I was supposed to do something, wasn't I? My little thing. Where is it? There. Okay.
Oh,
Thirsty for fresh perspectives on the healthcare revenue cycle? By becoming one of the PRNT sippers, you'll join a community of sharp minds who savor the complexities of the healthcare revenue cycle. So why sip alone when you can steep in knowledge together? So come, let's spill the tea on industry insights. Here's what you can expect as a valued member of the PRNT sippers. Exclusive healthcare insights. So gain access to in-depth articles, webinars, and resources covering the latest healthcare trends, compliance updates, and revenue cycle best practices. Early access. Be the first to receive expert insights and guides, ensuring you stay ahead in the ever-evolving healthcare industry. Personalized support. Enjoy direct access to our team of experts for guidance on medical coding, compliance issues, and revenue cycle management. We're here to answer your questions and support your professional growth. And my favorite, the community connection. So join a private community of healthcare professionals where you can network, share experiences, and collaborate on finding solutions to common challenges. So by supporting us, you're not only advancing your healthcare knowledge and career, but also contributing to the success of the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, a resource that empowers healthcare professionals like you to thrive in their roles, goals, and dreams. So thank you for considering becoming a member of the PRNT Sippers. For as little as $1 a month, you can join the community. Check out the link in the description. There are tiers for what you can get and what you can't get, but for as little as $1, you can join us. Check out the link in the description of the video, or you can hit on the QR code right there. Look at God. Your support means the world to us, and we look forward to helping you excel in the world of health information and revenue and healthcare revenue cycle. Yes, that was my little thing for the day. Okay, so for our Saturday morning tea family, again, thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning with us. I know your time is precious, and we don't take it lightly that you chose to spend it here with us and getting this information. Wasn't this some good information? I think it was. And when I see stuff that I feel like I need to tell the people, I'll make sure I tell it. At the Saturday Morning Tea, we're all about building a community of savvy, informed, marketable healthcare professionals. So again, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, and let's grow this community together. Mr. Jesse, do you have any closing thoughts?
no, great show.
All right, all right. Well, keep in mind with the right knowledge and approach, revenue cycle management really can be simple. So again, tune in next week as we'll be discussing another hot healthcare informational topic that you won't want to miss. See you PRNT sippers at in a few minutes at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, reminding you to keep learning, keep growing, and keep sipping that tea with intention. And that in healthcare, knowledge isn't just power, it's protection. Remember, be safe, be kind, and don't wish for it, work for it. Until next time, take care. Have a great weekend. Oh, look at the teacups. Yay, yay. All right. See you later.